Morning, Tammy Tansley here from Tammy Tansley Leadership and Workplace Culture. When we last spoke, I said that I would talk next about trust and the importance of trust. And today I wanted to talk about Stephen Covey's model of trust, which he has detailed in his book, The Speed of Trust, which is really, really worth reading if you can get your hands on it. So Stephen's model is that trust builds on itself. So you start with self, and then you look at relational trust, then you look at organisational trust and societal trust. So I thought today we would just start at looking at individual trust and how we can build trust within ourselves and start to build, I guess, a bit of an approach that people will instinctively trust us when we move to the relational trust piece. So Covey's model says that individual trust is made up of four cores, of which there are two halves. So the two halves are character and competence. So starting first with character, he says that there are two cores within the character half, and that is integrity and intent. So integrity being, are you congruent? And so Covey asks these sort of questions. Do I genuinely try to be honest in all my interactions with others? Do I typically walk my talk? Am I clear on my values? Do I feel comfortable standing up for my values? Interestingly, this one, am I open to learning new truths which may cause me to rethink or redefine my values? And am I able to consistently make and keep commitments to myself? So Covey says that if you feel that you're a bit light on any of those aspects, there are three particular things that you can do to accelerate the trust in this aspect. And he says you make and keep commitments to yourself, you stand for something, and you be open. And I think the last one, particularly in the current environment, is probably so critical for all of us. So the second component of character is intent, and that is, what is your agenda? So Covey says that intent matters and it grows out of character. And interestingly, while we judge other people, or while we judge ourselves, if you like, by our own intent, we judge other people on their behaviour. And we judge others' intent through our own lens of experiences. Our perception of somebody's intent has a huge impact on the degree to which we trust them. So if we think that they're up to something dodgy, our trust immediately reduces. And people often distrust us because of the conclusions they draw about what we do. And we can influence this by declaring our intent. So Covey says there are a couple of accelerators again. So examine and refine your motives. Why are you doing what you're doing? And declare your intent, and choose abundance. There's enough for all of us going around. So he says that integrity and intent go to forming character, and that is one half of what makes for a trustworthy person. The second half is about credibility, and he says that there are two components to that. So first of all, capabilities. Are you relevant? When someone looks at you, does it look as though you know what you're talking about? And here he says that there are things like talents, attitudes, skills, knowledge, and style. So people are making an assessment of all of those things against where they perceive that you should be. So again, he says you can accelerate all those things by running with your strengths and with your purpose, by keeping yourself relevant and know where you're going. And finally, he says the final component of capability is results. So what's your track record? So people want to know that you've done this before, that when you've said you're going to do something, you've delivered on it, and they want to be able to see evidence of that. So again, he says, take responsibility for your results, expect to win, and finish strong. So to summarise again, he says that becoming a trustworthy person is made up of both credibility and competence. And credibility comes from character and competence. And character comes from integrity and intent, and competence comes from capability and results. And the good thing about Covey's model on trust is that he says we can influence this. So having taken a kind of cold, hard look at where we're at, if there's any element of the way that we believe that we are operating personally, we can start to change that. We can do things a bit differently. So I think that's great news for development more generally. So next time we're going to chat about what that means in terms of relational trust. So getting other people to trust you. So we started with building a trustworthy person yourself, and that is those four components. But next time we'll talk about what does that mean around when you're in a team and the dynamics of that. So until then, bye-bye.